All right. So at first, I wasn't going to make a forecast video for today, but then I thought, the more I thought about it, I was like, who am I to not make a forecast video when we have two snow potentials coming up towards the end of next week and also next weekend? So here I am. This is going to be a quick forecast because it's late and I really want to go to bed. I'm super tired, but I want to talk about the snow potential for late next week and also into next weekend and possibly even early the following week. But let's dive into this. So it's going to start with this system right up here in Canada, and this is valid for Tuesday at 7 p.m. This system is going to pass to the north. Let me just show you here. I'm going to move it forward. System is going to pass to the north, and what this is going to do, this is going to set the stage for our potential snow for late next week by bringing in a shot of cold air across the central portion of the country and then also the eastern half of the United States. And it's going to set up this frontal boundary here. It's going to set up this frontal boundary that you see how far south this 540 line gets. So we're going to have cold air locked in place across the eastern half of the U.S. 540 line is all the way down into the Gulf. Now, whether or not this is, I mean, things are likely going to change between now and then, but the big picture is it's going to be cold and we're going to have a frontal boundary drape from the Gulf all the way up the East Coast. You get a frontal boundary, you get a baroclinic zone. That's energy for a storm. If it forms and rides up that frontal boundary, that's energy for the storm to form and intensify. And so, like I said, you're going to get this frontal boundary, and then we're going to have energy diving down into the U.S. And I'll show you the upper air map in a little bit, but I'm going to keep moving this forward. See this frontal boundary? It's just draped along the East Coast. And then you get this energy diving down into the U.S., and you get storm systems. So I think the first potential for an East Coast snow event would be late next week with this first one here. I don't know. We don't know the exact track. There's still a lot of uncertainties with it, but this is the first system, and this is the let me think, 1 p.m. run this afternoon for the GFS. There's that storm system, and then we get another chance late in the weekend with this storm system here. If we can get the energy to dive down, interact with that frontal boundary, and ride up the coast, East Coast snowstorm, it's game on. And I'm going to show you what the upper air map looks like because it's all going to depend on let me back this up first before I pull up the upper air map. It's all going to depend on the orientation of the trough and everything. I mean, we're going to have the cold air in place. We're going to have the frontal boundary. So we're going to have all the ingredients there, but can they come together in order to get us a snowstorm? That remains to be seen at this point. But let me pull up the upper air map. I just want to briefly go over this if it loads here. All right, so here's the first storm system. This is the piece of energy. The one thing I don't like about this is that it's a positively tilted trough. What you want it to do, what you want it to be is you want it to be back here and you want it to be more back here and you want it to be negatively tilted. But you see this energy, it doesn't get out ahead of the trough. It gets out ahead of the trough, but it's a little bit too late and it's further offshore, just like that. So it doesn't hug the coast like you want it to. So I want to show you what it looks like at the surface by what I mean by doesn't hug the coast. So look how far out to sea that is. If the trough was further back and the energy gets out ahead of this sooner, can ride up the frontal boundary and ride up the coast. But right now, it's keeping it further out to sea. So that's the first system here. Let me go back to the upper air map. Oh, one of my cats just made a really loud noise and it scared me. I live alone, so all the noises I hear are either from them or from someone breaking in, but it was just the cat, so we're good. All right, let's keep moving this forward here. So then we get our second storm system that's going to be diving down here. And again, it's a positively tilted trough and the energy doesn't get out ahead and it takes it right out to sea. That's this one right over here. Let me this piece of energy. I'm gonna back this up one more time. Here it dives down into the central U.S. and then it's positively tilted trough and it pushes out to sea. It goes straight out to sea. I mean, you get some snow with it, but it pushes mostly out to sea. It doesn't ride up the coast with this orientation. You want it to be a negatively tilted trough, and you want the energy to get out ahead of the main trough and push up the coast and interact with this frontal boundary that's going to be draped along the East Coast into the Gulf. If you don't get that, you don't get a storm. If you do get that, you get a storm and a potentially a big storm. So I'm going to keep you guys updated throughout the week. If anything changes, I will let you guys know. I will probably post another video tomorrow morning talking about the most recent runs We'll see if anything changes. I guarantee things are going to change throughout the next week or so. But the potential is there for an East Coast snowstorm late next week into next weekend. I think there's going to be at least 2 or 3 chances. We'll see if anything comes of it, and I will keep you guys updated. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's the forecast for today.